I don't know about you, but I really love it when somebody kills two birds with one stone, inadvertently. At least the other bird was killed inadvertently. This guy uploaded a video. It's entitled Accurate Flight Plans in the Southern Hemisphere, calculated with spherical math. And he actually shows maps produced and charts produced by a company called Jeppesen, which actually maps out aviation paths and weather systems and flight logs. And it's all according to spherical coordinates, so this totally quashes flat Earth. However, he doesn't realize that the actual maps that he presents are showing the latitudinal contour lines indicating the sign of curvature to the Earth being concave. So sit back and enjoy. It's an 8-minute video, and I'll give you a little commentary afterward as well.
What I'm showing you in this video is the flight plan that we actually used for flying back from Rio to Sydney, Australia. And what I'll do is just briefly go through the actual segments of the plan, and the last few pages are the actual weather chart, so you'll get an idea of the route and the wind conditions at the time. But this is for the first sector, which was from Rio to Cape Town. The little features that you can notice in the plan are the actual time, 6 hours 14, and the distance was 3,356 nautical miles. And as you can see, it's computed non-stop. It's done by a company called Jeppesen, who look after a lot of flight planning, and Jeppesen are responsible for all of the aviation charts that are used by most of the airlines in the world. So they're the ones that produce our flight plans. Now, if you go further down, actually just explaining that a little bit more, this is the fuel. This is how much fuel we require for the flight. This is how much fuel we had on board, and alternate requirements, if we needed to go to a different airport for any reason, could be weather deviations or any sort of emergency problems. And yeah, so that's the fuel equations. And then we've got the different airports that are involved. We've got Galileo, which is in Rio, Cape Town, Africa, and there's our actual flight plan, which goes into the coded system, and it's produced on the flight management system. The actual legs of the route are there. It basically breaks down each waypoint, distance, time, how much fuel you will use, how much fuel you will have remaining. So what I'll do is upload this flight plan. You can download it and have a look at it yourself. And if we just keep going, okay, all the waypoints, and this is some information on the estimated time of departure from Cape Town and the arrival into Perth. So as you can see, those times match fairly closely, within 10 minutes or so, to the actual times that we conducted the flight in the video. Okay, so this is the Cape Town to Perth flight, which is what you see in the video. 9 hours 12, 4867 nautical miles. And what you'll notice in the video is that we actually did it in 4,811. Now that's because this flight plan also includes what's called a standard instrument departure, and the flight plan standard instrument departure took us out on one runway that required a big loop back over the airport. But when we actually did the departure, the wind was suitable so that we could go straight out. So we actually saved a few track miles based on the flight planning, in case you're wondering what the discrepancy is there. We had full fuel on this flight, on this leg, 45,000 pounds, and actually required 33,000. So we did it with a lot of fuel to spare. All the legs, you can just go through that at your leisure. Equal time points, depressurization points. What they are is basically an indication of if we have an emergency en route, where are we going to go? What's the closest possible airport to go to? So, for example, before you meet halfway across the route, you would go back to the departure point. Once you've moved beyond halfway, then you would continue on. And depending upon where you are in the world, it actually might be quicker to just divert off to the side somewhere and go to another airport that's a lot closer. So that's what these equi-time points and depressurized waypoints are. And then the last part was just from Perth to Sydney, so I won't sort of gloss over that too much. The blacked out parts are just where it shows our tail number and any of the crew names, so I've just blacked that out for privacy. And there's the flight plan for Sydney. We keep going down. Now we get to the charts. These are the weather charts, and you'll see that's the Rio to Cape Town leg. There's yeah, the weather chart, infrared satellite weather. Now you'll see the wind patterns, you know.
Okay, you see the latitude lines there, guys? You see that? They're bending down. In the southern hemisphere, the latitude lines are indicating a concave cellular Earth. In the northern hemisphere, I'm going to show you later, these latitude lines are actually bending up.
These little lines demonstrate the wind direction and strength. So we had very, very good tailwinds right across there. It was just a nice, quick flight. Okay, there's the next sector, which was Cape Town to Perth. You'll notice that the route actually does a few little zigzags there because it's really optimized to take advantage of the winds. It's a computerized flight plan and it uses quite complex algorithms with the known winds to get the absolute maximum efficiency out of the flight. And as you can see, you know, this is all based on a globe Earth model. Like the mathematics are calculated on a globe Earth where the lines are...
Yeah, they're based on a globe Earth model. However, they're indicating concavity. Now, Jeppesen, the company that actually constructed these maps, I'm pretty sure they know. They have to know. They have to know. Especially the fact that you actually have to tip up the nose to these planes, 2.5 degrees at least, because you're traveling inside the concave Earth. Simple.
Longitude actually converge towards the pole. That's how the flight plans are calculated, and they're just spot on perfect. So, you know, it's just really
spot on perfect. You think a company that would actually produce a highly accurate aviation weather map would use, why would they do that? Why would they actually flip the sign of curvature to what we normally see with the globe indicating concavity if they're trying to present something that is spot on perfect? Unless, of course, it is spot on perfect because it's inside the concavity of the Earth.
I just shake my head. You know, there is just absolutely
I shake my head too, Wolfie, at you.
No doubt that the Earth is round. You know, people that think the Earth is flat, they can't even produce an accurate map. Nobody can agree on what the map looks like. There are no mathematical formulas for doing complex flight plans like this for a flat Earth map. It just doesn't exist. And yet there are thousands of aircraft flying every week all around the world using computerized flight plans that are based on the spherical model of the Earth, and they just work perfectly.
The concave spherical model of the Earth.
It just makes me laugh.
Oh, look at this.
Satellite images.
Satellite images. Wonderful.
Again,
all indicating
another
concavity.
Model of the wind, and you can see how it really spirals around the South Pole.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The wind's just really quite strong down south.
Kind of like a toilet bowl.
And
yeah.
Again, we had very favourable winds on this route. You can see how the wind was sort of just moving around, and that's why our route was just doing slight dog legs there.
Right.
Okay, and the last part is just
all concave.
Coming back to Sydney in Australia. Now, what this map is showing us is what I mentioned earlier, the equal time point. Okay, so it's basically showing us where we would divert to if we had a problem. You'll notice that the equal time point is actually closer to Rio than it is to Cape Town. Now, that's because
this one's not
we had a
concave.
very, very strong wind from the west. So basically, if we had a problem at this point, it would take an equal amount of time to continue to Cape Town as it would to turn around and go back to Rio. So that's why it's not offset. If there was no wind in a nil wind situation, that would be exactly halfway. But when you've got a really strong tailwind, obviously you're going to be going faster if you keep going east than if you turned around and went west. And there's the same thing with the Cape Town to Perth leg. Okay, you'll see we've actually got two equal time points, and that's because we can use an off-track alternate up here in Mauritius. You know, so if we're coming along here, we've got a couple of options. We can go basically back to Cape Town. Between these points here, we really need to go to Mauritius. That's the closest option, and then once you get past that point, your only option is to go to Perth. So hopefully that explains a little bit about the international flight plan that we used. And just to explain this map, now we'll go here. Okay, this map here, you'll see that the lines of longitude.
No, let's talk about the lines of latitude. Okay.
Converging towards the pole.
No, let's talk about the lines of latitude. If you're going to indicate the lines of longitude, Wolfie, you really ought to indicate the lines of latitude. Don't you think? Take it easy. Everybody's got something to hide.
Towards the pole. Please don't get confused because this map has them vertical. Okay, the lines of longitude are not like that. There are several different types of map projections, and this one's called basically a Mercator projection. You'll see that the lines of latitude, the spacing gets larger, okay, and the lines of longitude are parallel. Now, why they chose that for this map, I don't know, but it's not an accurate depiction of the Earth. It's a projection of the globe, and it distorts the geometry of the world. So it's not a good map for navigation, but this one's just displaying the equal time points. So to get a more accurate indication, you need to look at a map like that. You know, it shows better the relative positions of the country.
The higher you go, the deeper you fly. The higher you go. Oh, look at this. Check this out. Not this. This. Old maps show Earth is concave. Cellular. Look at this. Let's see this one here. The Jeppesen aviation weather map. Look at that. Even in the northern hemisphere, we're talking concavity. Concavity to all these very highly accurate, spot-on weather systems, aviation maps. See, in the northern hemisphere, we have the latitude lines converging up, or not, they're bending upward like that. Yeah, Wolfie, get a fucking clue, dude. Watch my videos, understand. Yeah, it's spherical, all right. But you're inside, dude. Look at this, another one. It's all there, buddy boy. You're inside. Light bends. Everything is close. Get a clue. Take it easy.